Hello Stitchy friends, good morning. It is Monday and if you are returning to my channel you might be, what is this? Where's Sen? I'm here. I'm just feeling a little bit frazzled today, so this video for today you will not see my face. We will talk face to face again next week. I'm just not feeling like putting makeup on and everything and getting ready, and I just got back from grocery shopping and out of the shower and everything, but I didn't want to show up for you to show you my weekly recap, so we're just gonna do it like this. I have all the projects that I've worked on over the week here on my desk, and for those of you that are new, I usually do like a very brief introduction at the beginning of the video before I move to face down camera view to show you my cross stitch. I am Sen. I am an artist and designer, and this is my little place on YouTube for everything cross stitch. And on Mondays, I do show what I stitched on over the past week. And sometimes I do have a little brief chat about life things that happened, if anything interesting did happen. That's on a week-to-week basis, as well as my plans for the coming week. So these are 6 projects that I worked on. I'm going to put them to the side so we can go through them. And I don't have to like stack them on top of each other. So let's start with the one that got the least amount of stitches. This is my Zesty Mandala model stitch. I was planning on working a lot more on this over the past week, but it only got 51 stitches last Monday. And I did not pick it up again afterwards, which is partially due to my new hobby that I've picked up, which I have touched on briefly last video, I believe. And I give like a very brief chat about that at the end of the video, but for now we're here for the cross stitch. So this is where this one's at. I'm gonna put a before picture over here or there, depending on where I do have space. Not much difference from before, but I'm thinking about doing a little bit more on this, giving it another like at least 1 strand a day or 100 stitches a day or something along those lines. So the other one that I worked on that is not game stitching related, let me pull it out all the way from the bottom and shake the camera while I do it, as is custom, in this beautiful bag from Frog and Fudge. One of my few project bags and the only one I bought. The other ones that I have I made myself. So this is where this one is at. Also not much different. I think I put 112 stitches in this week, which was yesterday, working in a dragon up here, stitching his wing. And this, I am planning on making a 1 strand a day project, at least for this week. I'll see how long I stick with it, because I want to get this finished. And this is only at 10% or something, because it's not a mandala, but it's like a flipped view. It has now it's 24%. I'm not underselling this. It has the same motif, like it mirrors in the middle over here, so it has the side and then it's mirrored on the other side. I don't have a printed out card on this yet, because should I put it back in the project bag? That's probably the smartest thing to do, but I will not close the zippers. I'm not going to do that to you. Sorry I hope I'm not giving you motion sickness when hitting my camera tripod. I still have to think about like a better setup for this, but for now I have to work with what I have. So everything else that I did over the week was game stitching, and if you're returning, you know, let me like even out my camera because I shook it, so you know that I'm playing multiple games of Jessie Marie Does Stuff's Marston Manor, some of which I have changed up a little to fit my own needs, and some I'm just playing by the book basically. So let me show you what I did. This is one of them. This is a and I'm using dungeon maps from like for Dungeons and Dragons, made by other people to play this, because I live in a 1-bedroom flat, so like we have 3 rooms. That would get boring really quickly. What I did, as you can see here already, I knocked out the round dragon, so I did change that up a little. I rolled a ton of stitches for this one, and for projects that are going fairly slow because they're larger or they're non-full coverage or they have full cross or they just go slow, some projects just go slow, I did not want to finish the 2,400 stitches or so that I rolled on it. So what I did instead, I ended stitching on this when I got enough milestones on it during those 2,400 stitches to defeat this project. And this one only had 2 HP set, as you can see here, because it's a fairly small project-ish, and it's not very old. So I go by project size, like for every 20,000 stitches, I give it 1 HP. And for every year that I have had it, I will also give it 1 HP. So if I started it in 2025, it gets 1 HP, 2024, 2 HP, and so on. So this one only had 2, and I got 2 milestones on it. In total, I reached 20%, and I got a row finish, which was easy enough. But I digress. It will get more difficult. It will be in other game rounds as well. So let me show you where I got with this. And maybe you watched my stitch with me, then you saw where I started and ended last week, because that was when I finished the stitching on this. So this is what it looks like currently, sitting at a little over 20%, I believe 24 or something. Let me check. Then I can tell you in a moment. 25%, almost, because like this app rounds up, so it's probably 24 point something, otherwise I would have counted that milestone as well. And I did a total, well, I'd have to do math, over the week, 602 stitches on this last week, finishing the row up here, like the second 10 by 10 row up here. And with that, this one will be out of this game. And I'm not refilling the rooms I've cleared. This is the first room I've cleared in any of the 4 games I'm playing, which granted is not that difficult if it only had 2 HP to begin with, but progress is progress. This is what it will look like finished, and I'll definitely take it. So what's done is done, right? So that was this game. The next I'll move up here into room 2, so this week, and this will be the next one I pick up, starting from this one again, will be Crystal Keeper. And I did roll a whopping 100 stitches on it. I think that's the lowest number you can get. So I will do 100 stitches on this, and then I will move on, probably into room 21, or back into the now empty courtyard, to move either up into the keep itself or down into the protective turrets and the walkways up here, but we'll see. Next, for my original first game, this one's probably more familiar to you if you've been watching. Let me get a sip of coffee. Last time we spoke, I had finished Winterwood and was moving back into the center, like the starting room. So I had to pick up Coffee Dragon again, and Coffee Dragon was rolled for 900 stitches, which I did last week. So let me show you where we ended up on Coffee Dragon. Coffee Dragon got a row finish. Like last time you saw it, the row wasn't fully done yet up here in the top corner. Now it is. So I finished this entire row across the 10 by 10 row and started moving back the second row, because I like all my hanging threads, because I worked from here in this direction like typewriter, so I have all the threads hanging here, and I thought it might be easiest for me not to like mess this up here if I started just going back from the side here in this direction, to use all the hanging threads here and then put new threads in where I hadn't any, if that makes any sense. So I am to work in the threads that I have in this row and then move slowly back across to the start and then go back in this direction. But this got 900 stitches. You can see in the before and after. Let me fold it so I can give you a little bit more of a close-up on the part that I worked on. And it looks great. Like I love the coverage of this. This gave me a lot of grief when I first started it, because I started it my usual 2/1 stitch, and then it was too bulky, and then I tried 1/1 stitch, and you saw like too much of the white fabric, and then I caved and did full cross. So this will be one of the few projects that I have, because it's so confetti heavy, that will very likely remain 1/1 full cross, even if it takes a long time to finish it. But I really enjoy stitching this, even with the 1/1 full cross. Like, I love stitching 1/1. Full cross is not my favorite because it's obviously slower than 10 stitch, and I have a ton of whips that want to be worked on. But this one will, and I've changed some back from full cross to 10 stitch to 2/1 10 stitch, because like I figured I can deal better with the bulkiness now that I'm using hoops, but because it evens that out a little bit. But I don't want to risk it with this project. This project will stay the way it is, because I mean, you see the amount of colors that are even in like a little bit, like a little part like this. There's too much confetti in here. If I have like a project like this that has 36 colors or so, that's not an issue. I don't have to travel as far, because I think, how do I explain this best? If I show you the back, see, like I travel my stitches. Here you can see it as well. And if you do that with a 10 stitch project, that can of course get like really bulky really fast, because you're not traveling one strand like you're doing with 1/1 full cross. You're traveling 2 strands, which is double the bulk in the back. And that I've heard the question, like, where's the difference, a couple times. So I suppose not everybody thinks of that, since in technically using the same amount of floss, if you do like 2/1 10 or 1/1 full cross, but with a 1/1 full cross, you just like move the single strand in the back, and if you do 10 stitch, that's double, so it's double the bulk. But that's what gave me so much grief with this project when I first started it, and I started it 3 times. This is the 3rd iteration. Thankfully I didn't work too long on it. But yeah, tangent. So I let the wheel decide what room I will go to next, which is something I decided because I wanted to make sure that I don't always go into the same room. The wheel decided on gravity, which I have not worked on in this game yet. It's up here, but to get there I have to move up the stairs and go through room 9. So we will be next up seeing Forest Lake again, on which I rolled 1240 stitches. So I will get started on that this week, after I worked on, like, after I did the 100 stitches on Crystal Keeper, which will probably not take me an hour or something. We'll see. But that will be up next. I obviously did get a milestone on Coffee Dragon. I think that was actually my 2nd milestone that I got on it. So it is 2 HP down, but it has a couple left, 6 in total. So we will see that a couple more times. So next I worked on my 2nd game round, which was over here in, let me see, did I not mark that off? I did. Up here in room 3. I worked on Gravity, which is this project here. This is my biggest current whip. I think it has almost 300,000 stitches, if not more. Let me see. I will be able to tell you in a moment, and I have like my computer in front of me with all of my stats. So I can just swap back and forth and tell you if I had added it into the program, which I have not. Silly me. So I did, and I didn't even, oh, I did track it correctly. I rolled 280 stitches on this. So it's not much. And there will, like, I can't properly track the percentage of this yet because I had to completely restart it on my markup. Because when I first put this into markup, I did not know how to properly set up overlap. You know, when you have on the second page the 3 slightly grayed out rows that belong to the page before that, so it's easier to see where to put your stitches. And I didn't put that up properly. Oh, cats are starting to fight. So I had more stitches and I had to double mark them and everything, and I got so annoyed by it. So I re-uploaded it into markup, and I have not yet marked all the stitches that I've already done on this. And I don't know if I will ever do that until I work on in the specific parts and fill out like a 10 by 10 block and then just mark the entire block. So until I do that, I will not be able to properly count it. But for now, like at least a percentage, because it will be further along than it currently is on my markup, because all of these parts here, this part here is not in markup. Like it's not marked off on my remarking of this. Anyway, what I did work on, and this is what I mean with the bulk here, this is a intent 2/1. They have a little dip here where I probably pulled too tightly, but it's fine. I don't mind it too much. So I put the 280 stitches in up here, switching this one as well to like the row by row, slightly typewriter method. I had moved across the entire width of the project at one point in the past. I think earlier this year or last year. Not entirely. You see it goes all the way over here. This one's large. It's a big one. It's not high, but it's very long. So getting the row finished for this one will take a while. But let me fold it back up. But for now, this is where I am with it. This is where I worked on. Just this part. Not many stitches. 280 on a project this size is kind of negligible. Oh, I can't I can't speak. Negligible. You know what I mean, I hope. And you know what I'm trying to get at. So negligible. I will just stop trying. But yeah, this one got its stitches, and as you possibly remember, it will come up soon on game 1 as well. This one now is in here, in this room, and in game 1, all the way up here, and has been decided to be worked on. So with this one, next one I will be moving is here, this outside terrace area, which is my room 6 on this game. And the project the wheel decided to be in here is my mythical swamp. So that I will work on next. I rolled 600 stitches on it. So that is also for the next round. I will see how many of all of those I will get done this week. So if I get to it, because I'm doing them like one by one. So we will see. Maybe this one will not even come up this week, depending on how much I get done. But that is the plan for this one. And then the one that I really changed up was my original second game, which technically is now game 4, but I named it game 2.b or 2b. Let me get another sip of coffee. And I think I mentioned that in my last video how I changed this up, because I got so burned out on autumn window here after rolling 2,800 stitches on it. And this game has all my non-full coverages. Like, not all of them, but all of these are non-full coverages. And so I was like, no, this takes so long, I can't do it. I'm just gonna get burned out on it and not want to do it again. So for this particular one, I'm not rolling. I have decided I will do 200 stitches every time I enter a room. And other than that, I will leave the rules as is. If I get a milestone, which for some projects 200 stitches will be enough to get a milestone because they are small, then I will get my XP for my next level up. If not, I will get a point of damage. That's the difference. I'm not rolling for amount of stitches. I'm always doing 200. So last week I was on the first floor, and this one has 3 floors. It has the ground floor, first floor, and the basement. So I had moved up here into the first floor and into a room. Like, I was here in this room last time, and last week I moved into room 13, which is the ensuite bathroom, and I worked on snake mushroom and gave it 200 stitches, and I do not think I got a milestone on it. So that was... no, I did not. So let me show you what I did on that. And you have not seen this one in a long time. I think the last time you saw it was probably my whip parade at the start of the year, since I have not worked on it yet this year. Hanging threads. This is where this one got to. And I put the hoop here because I forgot that there's like moon phases around it, which I technically wanted to do first, especially since then I can count them as like row finishes. But I will do that next time I pick this up. Then I will just put a slightly larger frame up here, and then I do the moon starting from the top and then to the left and right. But this is where this one's at. You will also see a before picture. I'm stitching this 1/1 on what I assume is a 28 count. I hand dyed this, I believe. Yes, this is one of my own hand dyed ones. 1/1. It only has 4, 5, 6, 7 colors, so it's a very simple little project. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And as always, I'm putting all of the patterns that are currently still available somewhere online in the description. If you're interested in any of the AI charts that I'm stitching, that I charted for myself, you can just write me an email. I'll get to share them with you for free, as they should be. So this is the snakes and mushroom. And that is the last one that I worked on. Since that is now done, I will move from the ensuite bathroom into the other bedroom that's adjacent to it, which is number 14. The project we'll decide on a secret garden, which you will then see next time for its 200 stitches. But that is all that I worked on this week. So if you are just here for the stitching, thank you for hanging out with me. And I hope I will see you again next week. Do please hit the little like button and leave me a subscribe if you haven't already and want to check back with me next week and the weeks after. And well, other than that, I'm just gonna go briefly into like a little chat before I hop off. There's not really much to tell you this week. There's not much going on other than, well, being very busy at work. We'll be heading to my mother's birthday on Friday this week. And yeah, other than that, well, what are my plans for next week? Well, continuing with my game stitching, mainly. And I, for now, have moved back into a phase where I'm like, I love having as many whips as I do, but they are also slow. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. So this is my confession, right? I think I have too many. Like, I love a good variety, but I have over 100, and I think that's too much, because there's a lot that we're in May already, and most of them I haven't even touched yet this year, and some of them I probably will not touch this year because they won't come up in my games, even if they're on the wheel, because this takes like a bit, or I will just put like a tiny bit of work into them. And I think, like, while I want to start things, and I may start more things, like, I don't know how long I will be in this phase, because obviously I also want to get the things done that I've kitted up, and I am sticking to my not buying patterns. I have not bought a single pattern so far this year, other than like what I got at the retreat, where I bought the book that I showed you last time. The other patterns that I got, like, my friend bought for me. So I'm sticking to the no buy. The only thing that I am buying is floss if I need it, because that's also for the kits that I'm making for my shop. And for my models, obviously, like, I have to buy floss colors that I'm missing for my own model stitches from the patterns that I do every month for Patreon. But other than that, I've been very consistent with that, and I'm planning on sticking with it. Does that mean I'm not gonna start more new projects, because I want to also get the ones that I've kitted up done, especially the ones that are fully kitted up, but I also want to whip down. Like, currently I do not want to buy any more patterns. Like, there are a lot that I want, but I want to get my hoard down a little bit. Partially because it's getting a bit overhand in general, but partially also because if you've like watched my last video where I briefly touched on it in the after chat, basically, I have fallen headfirst into diamond painting, which I've figured out that I am enjoying quite a lot. It does not mean I will stop cross-stitching. I will continue to cross-stitch. I might be cross-stitching a little bit less, but as you see, like, I've been doing a lot of diamond painting last week, but I've also been doing a lot of cross-stitch. So I'm not gonna go away. I just need to like make space to have a little bit of room for something else than cross-stitch. And I've always been a multi-crafter, and I feel that's fallen off a little bit of the wayside. Same as with my art. I haven't been drawing a lot. I have not been sewing more project bags, and I want to like spread my time a little bit more again, like moving a little bit away from the hyper focusing on just cross-stitch and do some other creative things again, especially since cross-stitch is now also partially my job. And I want to like get some more variety into my day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will try to whip down a little bit. I'm still not sure if that will change anything on how I do things currently, like with the game stitching and such, because that's helping me a lot to get a little bit more progress into my projects. Gamification is a big deal. Like it's a big thing. It works. So that's the thing. Maybe I will focus a little bit more on smaller projects on the side, either by focusing more on this one game that has all of the non-full coverage projects, so I can rotate through them. Maybe I will do a week where I just work on that particular game. We'll see. I will decide that as I go. But speaking of diamond painting, I'm not gonna go into that a lot here, because this is my cross-stitch channel. But if that is something that you're also interested in, because I know a lot of people like both as well, I do have, like, I made a diamond painting channel, because why not, right? I will link it down in the description, so if that's something that interests you, go give it a little click, and if you like, leave me a follow there as well. I will try to put at least one video a week as well over there. We will see. I will be working mainly on budget kits, because I do not have the money for the fancy like license 70 or 80 euros shenanigans. But again, more on that over at my other channel. And yeah, that's probably all I'm gonna say about that here. I will just always leave the link down in the description. And well, other than that, I think that's pretty much it for this week. Next week you will see me again, hopefully. I will be less tired and frazzled than I am today. And yeah, maybe I will also be able to show you a first glance at next month's Patreon pattern, because that is not finalized yet. Maybe we will get back to the frog family. Who knows? But for now, I will love you and leave you and shake the camera again to give you a little bit of motion sickness in the end. Hopefully not. And I hope I will see you again next week. Bye bye, my friends.